Among all the members of the Beatles, John Lennon stood out as the most politically outspoken. While his activism became even more prominent after the band split, he had already begun making controversial public statements during the group's peak, often stirring scandal with his bold commentary on global issues and the younger generation. So, it came as little surprise that once the Beatles disbanded, Lennon committed himself to expressing his political views through art. His first solo endeavor outside of the band was Give Peace a Chance, a powerful anti-war anthem that left a lasting impression not only on fans, but also on his longtime friend and bandmate, Paul McCartney. Even many years later, McCartney acknowledged the song's lasting influence, suggesting that it may have helped shape modern society through its message. The song was released in July 1969, just before Abbey Road came out, at a time when the Beatles were essentially on the verge of dissolution. Lennon collaborated with Yoko Ono and their music group, the Plastic Ono Band, to launch Give Peace a Chance as a protest against the Vietnam War. The song quickly gained traction and became a defining theme for anti-war movements throughout the early 1970s, regularly played at demonstrations and rallies as a unifying call for peace. Although McCartney has not been known for weaving political commentary into his music, he has never shied away from supporting humanitarian causes and speaking out on social issues when moved to do so. He typically favors uplifting themes in his songwriting, but that hasn't stopped him from appreciating artists, like Lennon, who center their art on activism. A resurfaced interview from the 1990s revealed McCartney reflecting on how music can contribute to social and political movements. He acknowledged the profound role Give Peace a Chance played in raising awareness and motivating people to take a stand against war. While he understood that a single song couldn't bring an actual conflict to an end, he emphasized its power to spark inspiration and promote change. Interestingly, although Give Peace a Chance was not a Beatles project, it was still credited to the Lennon-McCartney songwriting partnership. That credit stemmed from the long-established practice dating back to the 1950s, when Lennon and McCartney began writing songs together as teenagers. As the Beatles rose to fame, their compositions, whether written jointly or individually, were consistently credited to both of them. However, solo projects typically diverged from this pattern. This song was an exception. In a 1980 interview with Playboy, Lennon reflected on the decision to include McCartney's name on the track. He admitted that McCartney hadn't been involved in the song's creation, and said he later regretted giving him co-writing credit. At the time, though, he felt a sense of guilt, knowing he was preparing to leave the band, and possibly wanting to soften the impact of that decision. The origin of Give Peace a Chance was straightforward. Lennon and Ono spent their honeymoon conducting a week-long bed-in for peace at Montreal's Queen Elizabeth Hotel. From bed, they welcomed reporters and shared their thoughts on global issues, using the media's curiosity to their advantage. Journalists who rushed to cover the event initially expected a scandalous display, which the couple strategically used to draw attention to their message of peace. Lennon once remarked that the media was desperate to get into the room because they assumed something provocative would happen. He explained that he and Yoko were treating peace like a commercial product, promoting it the way companies market soap or soft drinks. That unusual week of protest culminated in the impromptu recording of Give Peace a Chance, which would go on to become a timeless anthem symbolizing hope in times of violence and conflict.